but all the information is up to date here. So I'll walk you through some of the technology, but as I do that, I want to say that I encourage anyone doing these types of sales or consultations to go in empty-handed, right? So you've got to know what you have in the background, but don't really lead with any product because you don't want to paint yourself into a corner. And so if I were to be a pro and do a virtual meeting with a homeowner, or if I was in their home, I would start with different questions, and those questions are part of this other thing that I'm going to show you, right? But you want to ask them, is are your energy bills kind of a pain point for you? Because if they don't care, then might not need to have a
Hey,
conversation,
buddy.
or
Before I send this money, I want to.
or we might need to kind of shift that messaging, right? But if they are a pain point for them, then that opens up a wide door to say, well, statistically speaking, 40 to 60% of your energy consumption is coming from your HVAC system or systems if they have multiple. And there are some inherent inefficiencies in these units that we can correct very effectively and very efficiently. And on that note, I tell them that while what we're doing is proprietary, it's not new in the sense that they do this at the industrial level, right? So for the really big systems and the industrial level type buildings, they utilize these kinds of strategies, and that I'm going to show you here in a second. What we've done at Madison Energy, our commercial side, and EcoStella, the residential side, is to take those strategies and package them for the residential and the small to medium commercial markets, right? And so that's sort of our the bottom line value proposition. So with the HVAC being the main consumer of the energy consumption, there are a couple of things that we can do. This product here, Stella Prime, is a dual solution. Okay, essentially, this is a mini computer that we're going to install in the system, and it's going to do two things. One, we're going to correlate the fan runtime to the system runtime. Or to say it simpler, we're going to make sure you get all the fan you need and none of what you don't. And the homeowner might think, well, I get the fan. What are you talking about? And the answer is this. When your thermostat reaches set point, your compressor turns off, your outside system turns off, and then you've got the fan that continues to blow for about 90 seconds to exhaust the coil. And it's the same 90 seconds no matter what, which, if you think about it, doesn't make sense because sometimes the compressor might run for 5 minutes, sometimes it runs for 30. And so the longer the compressor runs, the more fan we need to making sure we're getting all of that conditioned air into the home space. And that's exactly what EcoStella does. We're going to correlate that fan runtime. We're going to make sure that we're optimizing the whole system and capturing all of that energy that's been created. The second way that your HVAC system is losing money is because, again, going back to the thermostat, and we call them smart thermostats, but the reality is at the end of the day, all they are is an on and off switch, right? They don't adapt to any conditions. And so the second condition comes around where during the summertime, right, we're coming into prime season now. The weather's getting hotter, energy bills are going up. I mean, there's no better time to have these conversations. It also is the best time when we see the second part of this technology really take hold, which is the system's running harder and longer, right? The kids are in and out. Maybe the house is a little bit older. The windows aren't sealed the way they should be. The duct sealing isn't, what it should be, right? There's all these reasons where the system is losing energy. And so the system runs for an extended period of time. And by extended, I'm going to say more than 20 minutes. Once you go past 20 minutes, your coil, which is what holds the energy, is fully energized, right? It's holding all the energy that it can. The thermostat doesn't know that. All it knows is that, hey, we're not at the set point yet, so keep working system, meaning keep pumping compressor. But at that point, the compressor is not contributing any value to the system. So the Stella Prime recognizes that situation and adapts and says, hey, we're holding all the energy we can. I hear you that you're still calling, but we're going to turn the compressor off, just use the fan, and then after we're done that, if you still need the compressor, we bring it back online. So what this is doing is essentially sitting between the control board at the air handler and the thermostat, and it's communicating both ways, telling things what to do and when. So it's not just as simple as setting schedules. We're actually talking to the components of the system. And I'm getting a little bit technical now because I want you guys to understand this. But in terms of explaining it to the homeowner, most of the time you can simply say, look, I'm going to optimize the fan runtime and the compressor runtime, and the benefit of that is about a 10% whole home energy savings, right? Just from this product here. You're looking at anywhere from $600 to $1,200, depending on where you are and some factors, right? What you're paying for energy. But it's working all year round, and there's no maintenance to it. You don't have to do anything to it. You just, once it's installed, it's pre-programmed, it does its job, and that's it. And you just benefit from the savings. It's a lifetime warranty. I've had some of these installed for over 16 years now. I've had to replace 3 or 4 of them in the entire time. And that's it. I'm not even sure they were really broken. I just make them send me back the old one. I send out a new one to get it installed, and we keep everybody happy because that's important, right? And so that's what we're doing at with Common Set and EcoStella with our partnership is we're applying real intelligence to these systems to actively optimize the equipment itself and gain points of efficiency. And again, it's not magic, right? There's no magic box that's going to do everything. The Stella Prime has its functions. We put that in. Now we will then combine that with a couple of other strategies because when it comes to efficiency, the true effectiveness comes from the sum of multiple measures, right? There's different areas that we've got to attack, and so we need different measures to be able to do that. So this is sort of a picture of that last part that I was talking to you with the compressor, right? So, there's all this. I'm sorry, this is with the fan. So you've got all the energy in the coil that's available. The fan runs for 90 seconds, captures 75% of it, maybe more, maybe less. But at some point this ends, and you've got all this energy here that you've lost. And so with the Stella Prime, we're going to make sure we get 100% and not anything less. This is also backed by, utilities, right? I get utility incentives on the commercial side from utilities all over the country on these projects. Nothing available residentially. That's more for a credibility thing to say that, look, I do $100,000 projects. These guys are writing a check for 30 grand back to the client to incentivize this kind of thing. This is another sort of picture to show, your compressor running at different lengths of time here, and then your fan is the same. And because of this, you're losing different pieces of energy throughout the day, right? And they add up. It's expensive. This part is the compressor, where again, you've got 100% capacity, right? This is where we should stop, but if the compressor is still calling, it's going to continue to run, and this is all waste. The cup is just overflowing. The system can't hold it, right? And so we want to prevent that. So this is really a twofold method at the end of the day. We are A, going to minimize waste by capturing what we have, and B, minimize waste by eliminating unnecessary runtime altogether. Now, the second product that we can put with this is the Stella APC. We're going to have to update these pictures. They don't look like this anymore. They look nicer now. I don't have the example with me because my wife moves my stuff. But what happens with the fan motors, right? So we've talked about variable timing. Now we can talk about variable speed, or more accurately, adaptive speed. And so what happens with these motors is the system kicks on, right? Thermostat's like, hey, turn the system on. We need cold air. And that fan motor starts up, goes right to 100% speed, stays there the whole time, then drops off at the end. That's the equivalent of flooring your car from one red light to the next, which we all know is not efficient. Now, we could take that perfectly good single speed motor out and throw it in the trash can and put a variable speed motor in. You're talking thousands of dollars as well as downtime. It doesn't really make sense at the end of the day. On the commercial side, yes. in some applications. But for these single phase systems, it really doesn't. And so the next best thing is the Stella APC. It's going to wire directly into the motor. And again, it's a computer that's just talking to the motor, and through voltage signals, is telling it, don't go right to 100% speed. Let's soft start and only use 40% of that inrush current, right? We're going to eliminate 60% of it, which is going to help demand. And then we're going to step the speed up and step it back down. Much more efficient than just running at full speed the entire time. Anytime we're at a lower speed, as you can see here in this graph, all of the savings come in the beginning and at the end of the cycle. Okay? For you nerds out there, this capitalizes on a principle called Cube law. It's a physics principle. Cube law states that a 20% decrease in speed is equivalent to a 50% decrease in energy. And so anytime we're able to do this, and it's not 20% the whole time, this steps up, it goes like 20, 50, 80, 100, and back down, right? But this is energy savings all day long. By the way, an ancillary benefit of the APC, well, there's two actually. One is dehumidification. So if you're in a place like Florida, wink wink, where there's a lot of humidity, this actually helps because we're mixing the air at different speeds, right? And you're getting constant air, right? So with this, the fan is a minimum of 10% speed. And so you're getting constant air, constant conditioned air. It's going to help eliminate the humidity. I shouldn't say eliminate, I should say significantly reduce. And then it also does something called destratification, which, 8th grade earth science, right? Hot air goes up, cold air goes down. And so again, by mixing the air at different speeds, we get a more stable temperature environment. The third measure that we can employ is called the SynCat 360. This is any system that's 4 to 5 years old begins to suffer from a condition called oil fouling, which you can see pictured here. Oil migrates from the compressor into the refrigerant, kind of gums things up, and it slows everything down. And now the system's got to work harder to charge the refrigerant. And so, again, that leads to longer runtime and excessive energy use. Now, we can't get this oil completely out. I mean, we could, but again, you'd have to vacuum it all out. Very, very expensive. Put new stuff in, thousands of dollars. No good. So instead, we inject the SynCat 360. Okay? This goes in, and think about it like Drano. It's going to break up all of the stuff that's gunked up in the coils. It's going to break down those oil particles down very, very small. We're going to regain a lot of that viscosity, and with it, the efficiency that was lost. The thing to tell the homeowner in this case is that their HVAC system loses 1.5% of its efficiency every single year. So if you're talking to someone and you ask them how old their unit is, which is a key question, and they say it's 10 years old, you're down 15% at least just from this, on top of the inherent inefficiencies that already exist. Okay, so this is where the energy savings come from that we talk about. This is a one-time injection. Again, everything that we're doing with EcoStella, lifetime warranty. Okay, it's a one-time injection, stays in there for life, and just does its job, on an ongoing basis. Now, the question becomes, what if their system is only 2 years old or 3 years old? Can we do it? The answer is yes, but with a slight change in positioning, right? Because we haven't lost a whole lot of efficiency to regain, so they're not going to see that piece of it. But instead, what we'll do by putting this in now is preventing that inefficiency from ever happening. So that 1.5% won't be completely eliminated, but maybe we reduce it by 1.2. So now you're left with 0.3, right? Because any oil that comes in there now is immediately going to get broken down. Nothing, no sediment or of any kind is going to build up, and so you're just never going to have those issues. Air leakage. This is a big one, especially, again, for homes of a certain age, right? If they're brand new, they're going to have the make sure as part of the set, the home survey, right, is to kind of take a look at their duct systems, but they should be wrapped in some sort of insulation of some kind, right, with the mastic tape. But if it's old or if it's got some years on it, that stuff just naturally over time comes undone, gets holes. You end up with holes in the ducts themselves. Um, and due to that, you're losing air. You're conditioning the inside of your drywall and your attic, which is not your goal. And so, what we can do with this, which is a tremendous thing here, is AeroSeal, right? So, you have access to this nationwide. And what AeroSeal does is they bring in this machine. Well, first they're going to do a blower door test. So they're going to show you the pressure in your home. They're going to show you how much air you're losing. Then they'll hook up this AeroSeal machine. They spray a vaporized glue into your duct systems, which patch up all the holes, right? And now 100% of your air from your system is getting into your home. I can tell you, homeowners that we've done this for, immediate noticeable difference. I mean, day one, in terms of the house getting colder faster or warmer faster because they're not losing that air. Okay. And this is a big jump in the energy savings. So this is in our elite bundle. Because it's about this one thing is, I forget the cost of it, somewhere between like $3,000 and $4,000, something like that. But for those people that it makes sense for, very, very, very effective. Okay. We've also got access to insulation, right? Nationwide. I've got a nationwide agreement with a company. This is a similar kind of thing to the SimCat, where you can see its insulation drops off by year 3. We're down 15%, right? And it continues down from there. And so we can come in, we can do some blown-in installation, we can add to what's there, and insulate the home better itself. Arctic Breeze solar fans. So these are great. I personally don't have a whole lot of experience with these, but I can tell you, pulling that air 60 times a day out of the attic, right, as it's heating up in there, pulling that out is extremely beneficial, and this thing pays for itself in not a long time at all. Dude, I'm gonna skip some of that. Arctic blanket. This is a NASA created product here, right? Super easy to put this in, staple it down, and this gives you you would do this or the insulation, probably not both, right? I like this honestly from a cost and an application standpoint, but it depends on the homeowner. That one. Let's see. So let's continue with that. I want to show you guys the bundles so you can see that as well.
As you can see, we're moving fast with some of the improvements with Will. He just got the deck in real time.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, Will, just two quick notes. You can hide that little bar that's showing at the bottom of the slide. You see where it's got the blue right there. Yeah, you can hide that. And then when we're done, I'd love to have Carlos share with you his win on his own home, getting the blanket and the breeze installed once we get to a stop point.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. All right. So with the bundles, the first thing that I want you to know, the idea with the bundles is there's a power in 3. So even though you've got access to multiple bundles, whether the EcoStella one, they're all common set bundles, right? But there's ones that are specifically EcoStella, and then there's a couple other ones. My recommendation to you is, as you talk to the homeowner and you kind of figure out, what their needs are, you customize and you say, hey, here's the 3 things I would recommend to you, and present them as a good, better, best option, right? My goal is always to sell the one in the middle. Unless it's like, hey, look, this home's got all kinds of opportunity. Your energy bills are through the roof. Depending on your finances, we should go all the way, right? And then you see what the reaction is there. But this is the first bundle. We call it the Essentials. With this is the new Stella Prime, what it looks like. So you're going to get the Stella Prime and the SynCat 360. So you're going to get two of the main core measures. We're going to give you an energy monitor to track the energy savings and your energy usage overall, right? With this, you're going to be able to look at every major component in your house, every major appliance. And we're also going to do an HVAC tune-up. Why do we do that? The answer is because it doesn't matter what kind of tires I put on your car. If it doesn't have any gas in it, you're not going anywhere. So I could put all the efficiency measures on your HVAC system I want, but if it's got other issues that it's not functioning properly, we're wasting our time and your money. And so before a technician installs anything, I want them to look at the system, make sure there's no problems, do the tweaks that need to be done, right? Test the capacitor, make sure that's in line, check the filter, make sure the system is breathing the way that it needs to, and the other various things that they do. Um, and there's several benefits to that, right? It's going to improve the efficiency. It's going to make sure. I look at this with the homeowner and say, this is like a small insurance policy to protect this whole investment that you're going to make, right? Because if the system is not breathing, it's going to be inefficient, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing with the fan because we're never going to get there. Okay. So number one, I'm going to protect the investment. Number two, I'm going to protect your original investment of the HVAC system itself to make sure that it's running as efficiently as it can, and there's no maintenance issues hiding around the corner. These systems are just like cars. If there's a small problem and you don't attend to it and you let it go, that smaller problem is going to cascade and become a larger problem. All right. The capacitors, if you don't change it and it blows up, it could take your blower fan with it. And now a $300 fix just became a $1,500 fix. It's a real example.
I want to add one quick thing there, Will, if you don't mind.
Sure.
For everyone, look to the upper right. You can actually see the pricing and what the commission is for each of these bundles, as well as if you're a team builder, what the override is for your first generation. The second generation would be half of that because it's 6% and 3%. That gives you a really good idea. So as you see the cost structure, look at the economic benefit that you have in each of these bundles as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That is why we're all here at the end of the day. Those to help people. All right, so here's the Pro Bundle. Now you can see it significantly steps up. You get really 3 items here, but 2 efficiency measures, plus the monitor and the tune-up. Here, you're going to get 3 of the core measures, right? These are all 3. This is what we do at EcoStella. With the monitor, we're going to add in the UVC light bar for air quality. This is especially if they've got kids, if they've got pets, if they've got elderly people. This is huge. I would lean on that. And then the tune-up gets upgraded to a service plan. How you sell that is to say everything from the first part with the tune-up, but then it's, I want this guy to come back in 6-7 months and make sure everything is what it needs to be, right? You should do a tune-up twice a year anyway. And so let's get the next year scheduled right now. I want to make sure that your system's still in good working order. I want to make sure that everything here is functioning the way that it should. And so, I use that to let a homeowner know, I'm not here today and gone tomorrow. I'm here to become a long-term energy advisor for you, a home advisor, right? Anything you do from now on in your home, I want you to think of me. I want you to think of Commonstead, because there's a whole lot we can do. And someone may start here with a Pro Bundle, and then later on they want to do the Arctic blanket, or one of the other things that they have available. Need a hot water heater? Call us. Well, right? Even if we don't have it, we have it. We'll figure it out. Okay? So, I use that to say that, hey, look, here's this today. I'm going to be checking in with you quarterly basis. Make sure everything is good. That that you don't need anything. And then my technician is going to come out in another 6 months. Make sure everything's good. Right? This is part of me taking care of you. As you can see, we've gone from 4,000 up to 5,600. Not a huge jump, especially for what you're getting. Okay, you're going from $59 a month, another $30 a month in finance. Absolutely worth it all day long. The ultimate efficiency transformation, the Elite Bundle. All we've added to this is the duct sealing, but it drives up the price because this is, this has a decent cost to it. And I say decent cost, but the thing to remember is that cost is only relevant in the absence of value, right? So is $9,700 a lot of money? Well, not if your home is going to use a lot less energy, be more comfortable, your HVAC system is going to last longer, and you've increased in value. When you add all those things together, $139 a month, you waste that on stupid stuff. I know I do, right? Um, and so this is an investment in your home that we're not just going to save you energy, right? And we need to do that. There's never been a better time, right? We're double-digit increases all over the country. The data centers are being built right now. It's going to drive the cost up tremendously. I actually have a chart that I show clients that show them the last 10 years versus the next 10 years of what's projected. They're not my projections. Okay. And so it's, we're going to help you get in front of this and bring this energy consumption down. So I love this bundle, especially for the people that have really high energy bills and or older homes. And you're saving up, 35% is, I didn't say the percentages. So this one is 35, the Pro is 25, and the Essentials is 15. These are all good, conservative, solid numbers you can stand behind, and then we can add on from there, right? So, then we come to these other, the common stead products that we've got, and the goal, Charles and I are going to work together to create a package that gets us to 50%. So here's another way, about the same cost, 35% targeted savings with these here. So, the idea here is, again, being a good consultant, an advisor, a pro, you're listening more than you're talking. So I'm talking to the homeowner. They just replaced their system last year. They went all out, got all the bells and whistles. They don't really think they need some of this other technology from the EcoStella side. Cool. Shoot, right off the table. We'll come to this, right? The Arctic blanket and the Arctic fan. It's a great option to increase the efficiency that you got from your newer unit. So you should never walk away empty-handed. No matter what the situation is, there is a bundle or an option or a strategy that you can employ to help that homeowner. Maximum. Here you go. Here you go. We did it already. Man, 50% right here. You got the Stella Prime, Coat Zone. Great product, man. I love this stuff. I'm actually putting this in my commercial deals, and I'm not even charging the clients for it. I'm just going to put it in there and get whatever the extra points are out of it so I can over-deliver every time, right? So you're getting everything from this package here, right? And then we're adding in the Coat Zone and the Stella Prime. The Coat Zone is a treatment for the coils, keeps them free of biological matter, right, and whatnot, protects the system. And so clean coils are an absolute essential part of a system operating the way that it needs to. And then we've got the water bundles, which I'm not going to speak to because I'm not quite educated on it yet, or at least not enough. But
and there's plenty of training of that in the Learning Center as well as in the playbooks, so you can go and read that. Just know that whatever the homeowner's needs are with regard to their water, our pros will help them with these new bundles that we have. These are tremendous commission opportunities. Pricing points that you look are typically $1,000 to $2,000 lower than the average system that's out there. Most of the systems that are out there are knockoff Chinese product. These are made in Italy, the best quality water system that you're going to find. A lot of training in the Learning Center, as I said, the playbooks in the Learning Center, so you can dive in there if you want to get to know them.
Yep. For me, this is drinking water, so you should just spend as much money as you possibly can to get the best water possible.
Amen.
Because here we are in America, and we're blessed to have that opportunity. So, what else? Oh, so the other thing I was going to show you, and Charles, forgive me that we haven't covered this yet, but I have this is built in Go High Level, so super easy to translate, and we need to build it out more to include some of the other things. But this is something you can pull up on your iPad. You don't have to, right? But it's a tool where you can kind of go through, an assessment with the homeowner, and kind of ask some questions, right? Upload a nameplate picture. You're documenting things. I like this because from our side of it, right? Managing the installers, install stuff. It's good to have some of this technical information. It's on file. If the homeowner ever has questions, we can refer to it. We can pull the specs of the system. It's a good investigative discovery type play with the homeowner. But really, the reason I like it the most is if I was door knocking, I would, talk to the homeowner, right? Hey, hot day, energy bills are up. I'm feeling it. I know you are too. Which side of the house is your HVAC system on? Oh, it's on the right side. Cool. Can we go look at that together? Because now, not only am I collecting this information that I need, but I can start planting the seeds, right? So, okay, so this is the condenser. This is where your compressor is. Compressor is what uses the most energy in your home, apart from anything else, right? The compressor uses anywhere between 8 to 15 times more than that blower fan does that's up in the attic. So we want to address this, right? This is what I'm telling them. Your HVAC system is 40 to 60% of your total energy cost. And so this is where we start. This connects to an air handler and a thermostat inside. You mind if we go inside and get out of the sun and look at that as well? Sure, come on in. Right? Looking at the thermostat. Is it a smart thermostat? Cool. Have they actually done anything with it? If not, no worries, because we're going to put something in the air handler that you don't have to worry about. It's going to do it all for you, right? I still recommend doing the scheduling thing because there's a benefit to that. And when we come out to do the package, we can have our guy do it for you if they don't know how, right? All of our HVAC guys will know how to set that stuff up. If they've got 1 unit, 2 unit, whatever it is, thermostats, you can take pictures of those. If they've got a yucky looking thermostat, we can do, I like Ecobee the best. And the reason I like it the best is it's the easiest to install. It's the most versatile with whatever we run into with wiring or whatever the systems are. I've tried some of the other ones and there are some roadblocks, right? Insulation, where are they at? Inches. Get up there, with a little stick or something, or estimate it, measure it, what the square footage is. All of this helps you put it together so that on one hand, you're being very consultative and you're asking questions and you're figuring things out, but you also want to be a professional and say that, okay, the output is only good as the input, and I need to gain some information on what's going on so that as a professional, I can deliver the best possible recommendation to you. Okay? Because what I want to get away from is I'm not just here to sell you some stuff. Okay? I mean, I am, and I admit to that, because denying it would cost me credibility. Right? So it's like, hey, I'm here to sell stuff, but I'm also here to do it the right way. And so, it takes some information. So don't be afraid to do that. Then you just fill out all the information here, and boom, click submit, and good to go. So, with that, how do I stop you? There we go. Questions? I know there's a million.
Love that questionnaire, Will. Yeah, we didn't cover that yet. We are in the middle of really putting together a partnership that's going to be a big press release. So we're working on a lot of things behind the scenes. You might have seen Will working on the deck. While he's showing the deck, we're actually removing and changing slides. So hit refresh, you're going to see some things that weren't there before. That's real-time action that's happening here, folks. So very exciting stuff. The partnership is going to be a big step of us simplifying the whole front-end process and the sales process for pros. For connectors, you just can see, all you have to do is talk about savings. Come visit me on Monday. I'll walk you through how to set yourself up for success just using that conversation. Carlos, if you don't mind, I know that you've said this on a previous meeting, but you just had the blanket and the breeze installed, if I remember correctly, yeah?
I did. And I didn't do it to reduce my energy consumption because the solar system I have with my battery storage already did that. I got an average bill of only $17, $20 a month. I did it because I have a lot of hot spots in my bedroom. And as you know, I'm either in my wheelchair or I'm stuck in bed. And it's when that air wasn't circulating, it's very hot and humid. And so I put in that Arctic blanket and the Arctic breeze attic fans in my home, and almost immediately I could feel the difference. I had even cool air throughout my room. the humidity all but vanished. My AC unit barely runs. I mean, it does. I mean, because it's warming up and not even anywhere near what it used to. And so everybody has different reasons. I mean, majority of people are going to initially probably want it to reduce their utility bill. I'd already done that. I pretty much all eliminated everything but my connection fee, so that wasn't my reason for it. My reason was for comfort. So I mean, we gotta ask these exploratory questions when we're dealing with people, because you just never know what people's reasons are and why they want to do something. It's a brand new home. It's only 2 years old, and I thought, my installation's fine. I got blown in insulation, but it's not. It is now, but it wasn't.
So, I mean, that's such a great example. Will was talking about that earlier, is listening more than we speak, right? Because not only are we looking at the potential of savings, that wouldn't have mattered for Carlos. It's knowing what his discomfort is. So the more you listen, the more you're able to educate them on how you can help them. So not only are we providing more comfort, but with the equipment that we're using, we're extending the life of the systems as well. So if you look at the overall value proposition, whether they're saving money or not, they're saving money because they're not going to have to replace the HVAC system nearly as early as they would normally. It can potentially double the life cycle. So all of these things, you have to really look at it as a pro, looking at the whole picture, not just one simple package. So the more you know about your homeowners, and I love that survey, we'll work with you to build that into the ecosystem. And then, like, we would have potentially walked away from Carlos saying, oh, he's got solar, he's got batteries, he's a 2-year-old home. What benefit are we going to provide him? Well, once you get the list and he's got hot spots in his roof, you could take a heat gun and measure and see that it from room to room, it's going to vary. I mean, that is such a valuable weapon as a pro when you're, especially when you're in person. And then the day after it's installed, go in and do the same thing and go, look at that change. So I'm telling you that the benefit of energy reduction or energy efficiency is not just reduction. It's the overall value that you're looking at, the comfort, the longer lasting equipment, all that adds up big time. So sorry, Will, I felt it was good to share that for particularly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We do the same thing. You'll hear me refer to the commercial side a lot because I have a lot of those conversations right now. But same thing. The best thing we do is to kind of like put things out there and then sit back and hear what they say. And I've watched salespeople where the client will be like, yeah, we just did LED lighting a couple of years ago, and then the sales guy is still talking about lighting, and I'm like, nope, pick up the lights, throw them across the room. Don't need those, right? Even if maybe we could, the friction is your enemy. So I'm looking for what is important to Carlos, right? And if he hadn't done the other stuff already, and Carlos and I met, I'd be like, oh man, well the APC could help you, right? Because we're gonna mix that air, so let's do that. And so when you're solving an actual problem, look, people don't care what the product does, right? We teach that because you got to know in case somebody hits you with the question. What they care about is what it's going to do for them. And so you focus on outcome, not necessarily the features.
Will, I have a question, and forgive me if you already said it, but my memory is a sieve. When you showed the picture of that little box, it looks like it's this big to me. How big is it actually?
Yeah. So it's not that big.
It's not that big. The reason
It's like one is like it's actually the size of a hockey puck, the Stella Prime, and then the APC is like I don't know, it's like 4 or 5 inches across by another 4 inches, right?
Okay.
So
that's something you can put in, like I'm thinking about our condo that we just moved into that we don't own yet, but we're thinking of buying it. And there's like limited space in these little closets where the different things are, and so we could probably fit it in there, right?
Yeah. This goes right into the air handler, so they take the panel off. There's plenty of room in there to put this stuff, and it sits in there nicely.
Sweet.
That was a buying question, Will.
Yes, it was.
Future customer.
I will not take your money.
I like the hockey puck analogy. That's helpful.
Yeah. Melody hates when I'm working in the kitchen right now because I haven't finished my office yet. I got to put like a mini split down there. And so she keeps moving my stuff. She's like, I want my kitchen. So, anyway, we'll work that out. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too, maybe, I want to figure something out where maybe we have demo units where people can have them and they won't be fully functioning, but, the enclosures are good quality plastic, right? I mean, they feel good. And so it'd be nice to have that where it's still branded and we're handing it to the homeowners. I would do that. That's another strategy if you're on the doors where it's like, hey, have you seen this yet? And I hand it to somebody. And I did this in San Antonio. I went on a solar blitz that was incorporating EcoStella. And I had one with me. And I just kept handing it to people. And it's like, you can't close the door now. You got my stuff. Right? So there was one guy that was like handed it right back. And I'm like, all right, grumpy. Like, whatever. But, so it's good that, people feel that quality, right? Perception is everything. So,
Yeah, I would love to get my hands on that because I'm doing a lot of events.
okay. Yeah, so that came as a request. Same thing with that little survey thing. I was like, I forgot I had it. I was like, oh, I do have one of those. So,
Yeah, we've got demo kits. Carlos, I don't know if you have that. We got demo kits of the Arctic blanket and the Arctic breeze. Get those as well. So we'll work with Will to look at doing the same thing, especially people doing events. It's great to have something
Yeah,
to show.
I've already ordered both the demo kits. They're available.
Good. By the way, anybody in Florida, just a heads up, and I'll be posting on this here soon. We just confirmed we're going to have our first Commonstead event on the 30th of May here in Bradenton, Florida. So
Nice.
Get ready to go live in person.
Nice. Can I come?
You certainly can. In fact, anybody coming from out of town, we might actually be able to get a suite on the lower level that allows people to stay here. So I see you raising your hands. Yes.
I'm
Go ahead and stop recording now that we're getting into this. Stand by.
Yeah.